In the year 1979, he was a Belgian civil engineer named Robert Bouffage waits at Hereford London Airport, unshaken. The Sudanese guy who worked on one of the projects while waiting for the plane was reading a book titled The Nij Mystery, or The Serious Mystery, written by Robert Naim. The book talked about beliefs of tribes in Africa known as the tribes. They called me. Can you believe it? They're following me now. For thousands of years, they performed rituals and dances every 50 years, mimicking the movement of Sirius stars, believing it would communicate with celestial beings. The strange thing is, Sirius is actually a binary star known as Sirius A and Sirius B. Sirius B orbits around 1,000 times every 50 years. The Dogon tribe had this knowledge, and they perform a ritual every 50 years, precisely when the star returns to its position in the sky. Sirius, also known as the Dog Star, is one of the brightest stars and belongs to the constellation Canis Major. The strangest part is that Sirius B was discovered only 150 years ago and can't be seen with the naked eye. You need a telescope. And we didn't know how to film it until the year 1970. How did the Dijon know the star's movement, which requires knowledge of astronomy from tribes that appear simple and primitive? Here, Robert Kimball, the author of the book, expresses his belief that the astronomical information possessed by the Dogon people must have been passed down through thousands of years from ancient Egyptians. And to understand its secret from the poets, one must look into the history of ancient Egypt. Robert Bauval undertook a research journey that took him more than 10 years, concluding with a theory that could rewrite the entire Egyptian path until Egypt falls and its pyramids crumble. Oh, the sights of the sky? Robert Bauval was born in Alexandria. When he was 12 years old, he moved with his family to London and graduated as a civil engineer and continued his life. Like millions of other things, the pyramids are part of our thinking. Around the 80s, he was selling candy and he was visiting the Egyptian Museum in Tahrir Square. He saw a picture of the pyramids hanging on the wall. Robert stood in front of the picture and kept staring at it. It was a selected image from an airplane representing the pyramids from a high-altitude system at a distance of approximately 20 kilometers. As he stood in front of the panel, 3 questions came to his mind. Be careful, it grows on you.
See you all later.
The first question, why are there 3 donkeys? I mean, for example, why not 2? Why not 4? Why not 5? For general knowledge, pyramids are tombs of kings from the dynasties around 2,500 years before Christ, approximately. And it has 3 pyramids belonging to the kings, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. But it seems questionable that he has a fear of a man named King Jid Faraj, who built his pyramid in the Abu Rawash area, about 10 kilometers away. Okay, but why didn't they build their pyramids with them on the Giza Plateau? Nankora Abarado had a son named King Chips Eskaf, who was also one of the rulers of the Rama dynasty. They didn't share with us, they buried him with them and took us to his grave, which is about 18 kilometers away in Seven. The second question, why is the third pyramid much smaller than the first and second? The height of the third pyramid is 65 meters and its volume is approximately half the volume of the first and second pyramids. Detailing the time in the chronicles, King Mankura built a smaller pyramid to reduce costs, but even that explanation is not convincing. Because Armancola contains a large number of massive red granite stones, some of which weigh more than 10 tons. The red granite comes from a distance of 1,000 kilometers from Aswan, and carrying and transporting it is very difficult and costly. I built a small pyramid, it's true, but the quality is higher and the cost is greater. They didn't do it for the necessity, but to save on costs. The third and final question, which was the most annoying for Robert. Why is the third pyramid not aligned with the axis of the first and second pyramids? If we draw a line through the center of the first and second pyramids, we will find it far from the third. It's like the third pyramid was built, but not in its correct place. After deciding it was due to the soil's geology being unsuitable, it was determined that if the pyramid was built in this place, it would suffer cracks and collapses. But no one has provided strong evidence on this topic. For instance, no one has taken the soil and said there would be stagnation if these rocks were built here. These were just assumptions. These are the 3 points I will talk about. Why 3 points? Did you get lost on the Giza Plateau? Why is the third pyramid way smaller compared to the first and the second? Why isn't the third pyramid aligned with the first and the second? For years, Robert struggled with the last questions and was not satisfied with the existing interpretations. Deep down, as a civil engineer, he was sure that the design of the pyramids, with their sizes and locations, held more secrets. It all happened at once, following a single design. So, all the Papili pyramids were aligned simultaneously, not just by the king who built them. And then his successor said, align the pyramid next to my father's, and so on. All at the same time. For example, printing the design of a residential city will open the designs of streets, buildings, schools, and hospitals all at once, at the same time. There must be a main design board for the coffee, but hey Vani, I don't know how to find an answer. While he was on a business trip for a project in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, it was the weekend. So he went on a safari with his friend in the morning, and in the evening he strolled with his French friend to learn about the ancient groups. He pointed to a certain constellation in the sky and told him that it consists of 3 stars, but they are not in a straight line.
As soon as the smallest of them perished,
Robert
they
Leslie.
vanished.
Constantine Pemba, the place his friend was pointing at and yelled, asking what was happening. His friend replied, I see Giza pyramids in the sky. Finally, Robert found the Luxcari key from John's Ori belt. Orion's belt is a group of 3 stars, commonly referred to as the Belt of Orion. It was once part of a larger constellation known as the Giants. A strong person grabs a prey in that moment, and Lope de Buffal clarified the vision because the pyramids are a copy of a group of the first belt constantly reproducing. And that's how the pyramid sizes and distances were established. We say the 3 accounts are settled. The area's proportions are equal in size and relative purity with the Giza pyramid's elements. Then the central command and the star of the area will proceed shortly. The pyramids of Giza, same story again, a line passing through Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure in a bit. So this is the specific plan he was looking for. A wonderful revelation, and this is the starting point. Robert Buffal wanted to discuss the idea with several Egyptologists, so he wrote a letter to the head of the Egyptology department at the British Museum at that time, Dr. Harry James, to consider
The alignment between the pyramids and
just a
Orion.
coincidence. Such a loving reply. But Robert did not worry, and attempted again with the well-known British Egyptologist Dr. Idriki, to get excited about the idea and encourage the country's progress. Romance does not stop at this ion, as long as the Giza pyramids were built on the Orion's belt. What prevents other buildings from being built on other celestial lines? The Arambla is a collection of some of the most capable Egyptian secret texts found in the pyramids of Onas, Teti, and other small pyramids in the minor area. The texts inscribed in the inner chambers of the pyramids speak about the king's transition to the afterlife. One point of confusion during the study of these texts was a mention of a maize root. It's like a river in the sky. One part says, "O water, have you carried me and lifted me to the winding waterway? Now, did you make me a part of the immortal star gods?" And in another location, he tells him the text. Thus, the multidimensional water path overflowed, and he meant to cross to the eastern side of the sky. To the place where the gods will grant me rebirth, where I was born anew. The text spoke of a curved water path in the sky, and the king's journey from west to east to live among the stars. Forefathers considered Nubia to be eternal. As linguists of the Egyptian language envisioned, the winding path would symbolize a river meandering in the sky. Abstract knowledge can sometimes be observed from the Earth's surface on specific days, something emphasized in the important text from the tomb of Harsamtus, that Egypt is a reflection of the heavens. Most people who came across this phrase thought its meaning was metaphorical, indicating beauty and clarity, but Robert believed it represented a real reflection of the sky, that Egypt is a literal representation of the heavens, not a metaphorical one. It is believed that Egypt has 7 massive pyramids, all the people of the 4th dynasty. It is a reflection of the sky. The Nile River is a terrestrial image of the Milky Way, which is portrayed as a heavenly Nile, and 7 pyramids on Earth correspond to 7 stars in the sky, matching their size and intensity. She found their meanings and their relative positions to be impactful. Do the pyramids of Abu Rawash align with the Sword Star? Do the Giza pyramids align with Orion's belt? The pyramid at Zawid al-Aryan is aligned with the stars of Pleiades, and the pyramid of Ida Husham is aligned with the stars of the Citadel.
And that stays...
Hermes Trismegistus of Egypt depicted the heavens. The ancient Egyptians highly revered a group of scholars they called Saha. And watch,
Those who were
because its
chanting.
appearance was linked to Ferdani Mill, the source of heat. Astronomically, Sirius is linked to the Orion group that appears before it. From a real estate perspective, Sirius has aligned. Orion was associated with Osiris, and the stars of the Pleiades were associated with Set, Osiris' brother, who fought him in the well-known legend. This theory leads to 2 very important insights. The enclosures were not built isolated from each other, as we had thought, but he designed her mind at the same time as part of a grand engineering plan, based on a complex background and spatial and future considerations. A very precise understanding of roughly, from day one, he was determined to have 7 enclosures in these locations under one project's umbrella, designed simultaneously but possibly implemented separately over many years, 100 years or 200 years more or less. That's the problem. So the idea that King Khufu decided to build a pyramid on the Giza plateau, his priest decided to build his pyramid here, and so on. Everyone designs and builds their own pyramid in the way they see fit, but Adele clearly sees that this story is incorrect. The idea that the bent pyramid had a mistake in its angles is not true. It happened during construction, and because of that, they built the red pyramid next to it. Clearly, that's also not correct. As the episodes progress, you'll see there's no such thing as envy or a sound. And the things recorded in books as design or construction mistakes weren't actually mistakes. They were intentionally designed to be that way. It was indeed intended to have 2 pyramids in Dashur, and the red pyramid aligns with the star Aldebaran. The bent pyramid aligns with the eye of the star from Kokaptun. Aldebaran is defined in references as a red giant because over millions of years, it has turned its hydrogen into helium. And this attempt was accompanied by a significant rise in temperature, making its surface turn red. Do you think it's a coincidence that our protest eroded Aldebaran the less? And from here, we called it the Red Pyramid. It seems obvious to me that it's a coincidence and that everything was subject to design. As after extensive research in Montoni on the pyramids and their relation to the stars, Robert published his theory in a family scientific journal called Discussions in Egyptology, or Discussions in Egyptian. He felt he had done his part, connected the pyramids to the stars, and decided to stop at this point. But a very small observation will open the door to discovering the greatness of the pyramids' age. See you in the next episode, God willing.